Hi there, welcome to Recharging with Champions. I am here today with our guest, Sheena Easter. Sheena is a leader here at Atlantic Bay Mortgage. She's a market leader. You've been in the business for
Yeah,
18 years,
yeah,
right?
and banking 18 years in mortgages, about 12 or 13.
So a little bit of time, enough to know pretty much all sides of the industry. You've
For
seen
sure.
the ups,
Roller
the
coaster.
downs. So Sheena and I do kind of the same thing. You're in the Greensboro, North Carolina area. What is your footprint? What areas do you cover there?
So it's all of central North Carolina. So, like you said, Greensboro, Burlington, all the way to the southern area, which is more like Davidson County, Rowan County areas
You've
as
got
well.
kind of that big footprint right in
Right,
that market.
right in the
Very
center.
cool. Sheena, tell me a little bit. I know as leaders, we all have kind of the thing that gets us. What made you want to be a leader? What is your biggest thing as a leader that just makes you proud as a leader?
So I came from a place of not having local leadership. So to me, it's really important to have somebody that could have picked up the phone and called and asked questions to, whether it's loan level issues or just help with putting on events for networking and branding and community involvement. So that's been really important for me to really be in the weeds with my team and help them on a day-to-day basis and whatever that looks like to them, just because I've been in that position where I didn't have that
Where
before.
you didn't have that. So have you always been the type of person that would like to kind of be the support, making sure people hit goals? Are you that little engine that pushes at the back of the train?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've obviously produced for a number of years on my own,
Right.
so it was certainly a transition to get out of production and to support. But it's very rewarding to see my teammates succeed and to see them hit goals and hit milestones. And we're forever creating these fun challenges for the team to hit. Whether it's volume and units or like just doing credit pulls or hosting a certain number of speaking events or entertainment or whatever that looks like to them, just seeing them have success and feel that energy is very rewarding to me.
Absolutely. You said something there just now. You said what you love seeing their success, and I just have to say, celebrating their wins. That was the one thing that really surprised me. I think the most coming into leadership. I don't know if you feel the same way, but when I am celebrating the wins of the team, I don't like celebrating myself, right? There's like this thing like I'm like, oh yeah, I did good. I don't like to pat myself on the back. But
Right.
man, it's really fun to pat others on the
For
back.
sure. So the last couple of years, the sales trip qualifications that we've had a couple mortgage bankers who come down to the very end. Like, are they going to make it? Are they going to get there? I think
Right.
I was more excited when I found out that they hit it than they were. They're like, "Oh, it's great! It's gonna be fun." I'm
Right.
like, "You made it!"
Look, we're going to throw a party because you made it to the party. No, that's so true. And I think that it is ingrained in us a little bit to not celebrate. I mean, we are somewhat taught not to be vain. Don't be proud.
Right?
Don't be boastful.
Yeah, we're humble.
So it's really cool on the leadership side that we can really do that for them. And
Right?
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
mentioned something else, and I know this is something that you're pretty passionate about, and I'd like to dive into it. So, Sheena, we're probably looking at a lot of agents, but maybe some agents that are on a team, and maybe even some team leaders, maybe other lender leaders. So, as a leader, I know that you actually put on quite a few events that you basically do the event for the team, right?
Right. Right.
So tell me a little bit about that. Give me a couple of examples of what you're doing when you're doing these events.
Yeah, so we've adapted the last couple of years. We've realized that, people appreciate, our partners really appreciate entertainment and fun as much as they enjoy and find value in the education. So we're trying to combine those two and do a lot of events that are not just educational, but they're really fun too, whether that's
Right.
hosting a bingo, a mortgage bingo, or mortgage trivia, or whatever that looks like to them. That can be not so stiff and stuffy, but just fun stuff too. So yeah, we're doing a lot of coordinating these events,
Right.
and mortgage bankers get to invite and show up and just have fun with their agents.
And that's really something that like I didn't have that when I was producing. I know you didn't because this role that we have is kind of new.
Right.
So when you said something, you said that you wanted to give what you didn't have. So when you're doing these events, what did you used to do when it was all on your head, and what things do you pull off now that what are you giving the bankers and your mortgage team that you didn't have when you were doing it?
Right. Yeah. I mean, coming from the producing side of, I had to coordinate the entire event. I had to market the entire event. That was tough, right? If you're in the files all the time, it's hard to create these fun things for folks to come to. But it's nice that, we have the leadership and we have business development support who can come in and help set up these things for
Right.
the teammates now.
Right. So you are literally, you're kind of planning the event. You did I actually got to go to this one, the casino night, right? So
Yeah.
you had a casino night. So you basically, as the leader, your team can take full advantage that I got to see this. So I saw it firsthand. They take full advantage of this great casino night where you have managed to get everybody there. You've got drinks ordered, you've got catering ordered, you've got the casino people there.
Yep.
Your mortgage banker is just, and did you actually like do the promotional material for them as well? Like you've got the flyers made for them?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like we've helped either in Canva or our marketing department has created content for them to share on social media.
For it. That's
Everything.
awesome. And so then all they have to do is basically go out and invite their people
Right.
to come to this event.
Yep.
So when they come in, you're basically stepping back a little bit, right? Now it's kind of letting them shine.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It is so much fun just to stand in the corner and watch, like to watch what's come to fruition.
What's unfolding, right? Yeah, no, that's awesome. So I know that as a leader, and we both kind of stepped into this and we came from producing. So it used to be that we would do all of this and it was kind of the Charlotte show or kind of the Sheena show, right? So we would do this and it would be all about us. Tell me about stepping back. What have been the pros and the cons of now taking that leadership role and letting them shine rather than you shine?
Right. I mean, it's great because a lot of the industry partners that I worked with before are still coming to these events.
Right. You're still seeing your friends.
Yeah, I'm still seeing my friends. A lot of these same people. But I know that I've passed these partners on to my teammates that I trust completely to take good care of them as well. So
That's
that
awesome.
has been easy enough because I knew that they were in good hands, whether it was me or with my teammates, they were still in good hands.
Right. And I know as like a realtor team lead, slightly different because a lot of times the realtor team leads are, if nothing else, are at least getting listings in for the team. But would you say for branding, have you seen more traction by pushing the other teammates?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, we work better in numbers. So the more events that we host, whether it's individual mortgage bankers or as a group, the more that we host, the more our name is in the community and the bigger our brand is built.
So it doesn't have to be, even though they know Sheena, it doesn't have to be about Sheena because the name is going out there and you're getting that branding. I have found, especially on social media, that if I make the event flyer specific to each person on the team, and so I really make it specialized because I found that when people see her picture on social media, if they know her, they're more quickly to relate to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have done a couple of like client appreciation parties, joint client appreciation parties where we're the sponsor. So we'll like sponsor food, but also because we've done this so many times, we really do somewhat like we can rinse and repeat.
Right. That's awesome.
Invitations. We just change it. Right. And then we put that realtor's information on there and that way it gets their name out. It's a good way of branding. I know you've done quite a few events. Let's start with some good stuff. Tell me 2 or 3 of your very favorite events that you have hosted.
Honestly, I think my favorite is probably the very first big event that we did, which was, it was a trivia night. So it was really focused on 90s trivia. So we literally dressed up in 90s themed clothes, had 90s music topics, movies and shows and all good things 90s. It was so much fun. And it was really that age group that came. I think most of the
Right. They were all from the 90s, right?
We all grew up in the 90s. So that was a lot of fun. We had people talking about that for weeks afterwards and how much of a great time it was. And it was really nice to unwind and just have a good, good time outside of the computer, right? Outside of being behind the computer.
And was that something that you did with agents? Was it just for your group? What was the event for?
Yeah, so it was a small group of mortgage bankers and then their agents, and their agents actually got to bring a +1. So they got to treat it as a little date night too. So that was
very cool. That's a great idea. Yeah. Great idea. And that's the beauty of these things is you can provide a little bit of mortgage information, provide a lot of fun.
Right.
And then we said weeks, they were talking about how much fun they had.
Right. And of course, they is on social media too. So that was a win.
Right.
And making sure everybody, we're creating that fear of missing out. If you weren't invited or you didn't show up, you missed out.
Yeah, and Sheena and I talk about this often. We definitely have FOMO, so we totally get it. Like, we're going to try to create events that people have FOMO. That's right.
Everybody to come.
Sheena and I have been friends for a good little bit, and we clicked right away because we both do have that core value. So Atlantic Bay has a core value of having fun. That's one of their 3 core values. It's my favorite of the core
Right.
values. Sheena and I have this in common because she's my fun buddy. We can definitely go and have fun together. But would you say that incorporating fun into the event, so if you're going to do an educational event, if you're going to do a home buying event, if you're going to do a realtor event where you're inviting realtors in to learn something, do you try to incorporate fun into all of those events in some way, shape, or form?
Absolutely, every time, because I think you're more likely to get return, clients next time, and repeat events are going to be successful because they're like, hey, I didn't just have to sit in 8 hours of CE. It was
right.
Education here. We stopped and had a game. We stopped and played a game. We stopped for lunch. Stopped for drinks. Whatever it was. Like there's a lot of fun that we incorporate. Much more productive and just efficient if you're enjoying what you do.
I just thought of an event that I think we should do. We're going to go ahead and tell it to the world because you just said your favorite event was trivia night. And a lot of lenders are doing these first-time homebuyer classes, and it's tough to get people, agents, it's hard to get people to these first-time homebuyer classes. What if we did a first-time homebuyer trivia night?
Oh, I love it. People would
come. How cool would that be? We should do this. All right. # we're going to come back and tell you in a couple months how our first-time homebuyer trivia night went. Let's see if we get people to that. That'll be so much more fun. Like you can incorporate some regular trivia in there and then have some homebuyer trivia. So you're learning while you're having fun with prizes.
Yeah, it's a win for everybody.
We're going to do this. Good idea.
Win effort here.
We should not get together. We're going to come up with all of the ideas. That's our brains together. So tell me a little bit about some of the horror stories. I mean, obviously when there's events, I know you've got some stories. So what is the biggest mess up that has happened that as the leader you were there to kind of pick up and fix, and how did you fix it?
There's only 2 things that's really jumping out to me that were like, this is not how I intended for this to go.
Right.
And they were actually at the same event, come to think of it. So the first thing we thought that I'm thinking of is we ordered some catering from a local company. It's not a franchise. They have delicious food. They're very known in the community for having all the good things. Well, we ordered obviously enough for everybody, and it's about 25 minutes away from where the event we were holding was. So, it's right before the event time is supposed to start because I want it hot and fresh and all the things. And we realized we're missing 10 pounds of meat. So we'd ordered like pork and chicken and, whatever it was. And we're missing 10 pounds of meat. I'm like, we're going to run out of food. And so there was a moment
KFC, we're going to KFC.
Right? There was a whole moment of fear of these people are going to have to eat beans for dinner.
Right.
Fortunately, we got it handled, and they brought us the rest of our food, and all was well. And we ended up having plenty left over, but there was that little like, what are we gonna do? We're gonna run out of food.
And that's the beauty of having a team lead and having a leader that does handle that. The mortgage bankers could just go smooth and maybe buy some time while we're fixing the problem.
I was like, y'all go to network, you go welcome your guest. I'm gonna figure this out behind the scenes here. It'll be okay. But inside, I was like,
That's it. And I will tell you that Sheena actually had something very similar happen when it was just me. So when I started, I was by myself here at Bowling Green. I didn't even have an assistant. So when I did events, it was literally just me. And I had a situation to where something was missing. Maybe drinks. All I know is I spent the first 15 minutes while people were coming in. It's just me. So they're wanting to talk to me and I'm trying to troubleshoot.
Yeah.
It was so bad. It was seriously, my hair was on fire. So I literally got done with solving the problem. Oh, I remember what it was now. They brought the food. They didn't bring any drinks. We had 0 drinks. And it was like at a farm. So we were doing it was my very first client appreciation party. And we were at a farm out in the middle of nowhere. So like you couldn't just go
pick something up at the store.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So by the time I got it solved, I'm literally in sweat. And it was October, so it was cool.
Yeah.
But I just remember that stressful feeling when I got home that night, man. I mean, I was done. So case in point, leaders out there, don't leave it just for your teammates to do this. Go help your teammates. Go. At least we're firefighters. That's why we're leaders.
Right. Exactly.
Go help. Go
Yeah.
help for sure.
Yeah.
That's so true. Oh, me. So what was your other? You said you had two. What
Oh
happened
yeah.
in this
So later that night, so this was the night of the casino. So later that night, I had set my phone down like among one of the tables, the casino tables, and didn't notice it. And like an hour later, I'm going, "Where's my phone? I haven't seen my phone lately." One of the agents had picked it up and taken it home and didn't realize it. So fortunately, I have Life 360 on my phone. So my husband's like, "I'm gonna go track it
You
down for
know
you."
where you live.
The poor agent was mortified. She was like, "I can't
Oh,
believe I
yeah.
did that." Like, I'll
I'm
only spend an
stealing
hour
people's
looking for it
phones
before I
now.
remember 360. It's fine.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty
It
funny.
was memorable, if nothing else.
That's it. One thing that I have learned from my personal events and from hosting them for my team is even when I'm hosting them for my team, I'm in the backdrop. There's so many moving
Oh
parts.
yeah,
You've got to have somebody on camera. Like
right,
you've got to have somebody taking pictures.
right.
And it
And that's
cannot be
the
one
thing.
of your agents. It can't be one of your team.
So,
You
and
need
it's an
somebody
interested party. Yeah, we've learned
that
that too
is,
because we're having so much fun and we're so busy that we forget to take pictures
that's
sometimes.
it. And
So yeah,
if you get a couple of cameos, you're missing the big group. You need somebody that doesn't You need somebody that doesn't know everybody.
right,
Because if you know people, you end up getting the same people over and over again.
true.
So you need
Yeah.
somebody third party. It doesn't have to be a professional camera person. However, I have learned, here is some words of wisdom. I thought that if I hired any boomer, not boomer, opposite boomer, any young kid, like 20-year-old, that any 20-year-old could be my photographer. I mean, right? They're selfie kids. This is all
Right.
they've done. They've been on their phone. I'm like, hey,
Right.
I'm hiring you, 20-year-old, to go take pictures. Go take pictures. Well, I have learned that you can't just hire any 20-year-old. She was an introvert.
Uh
She was artsy, so I thought this would be great. But she was an introvert and would not go ask if she could take pictures, and she felt bad about doing it. I literally got 4 pictures of the
oh.
entire event,
Oh
and
no.
2 of them were of her going, sorry. I mean, I was like, mortified. So thank goodness I had set up another camera as a video, like just videoing from afar the entire event. So I got a couple video clips I just
Right.
snapped. But lesson learned: 1, you need to hire a photographer, and 2, not all 20-year-olds
Or
can go
qualified.
and take pictures. You need to find that gregarious one, the one that'll go talk to everybody.
Yeah. That makes sense.
That is the 20-year-old you want to hire for doing pictures for your.
For the selective.
They don't care to be obnoxious. They've got to be okay with being obnoxious, because that's what it kind of feels like when you're taking
Right.
pictures. Is, I'm going to slide in here and interrupt you. I
Yeah.
get it.
Well, I even like candid photos too. I think a lot of times candid photos are the best. Like
That's
just
right.
really enjoying themselves and having fun and not necessarily posed.
Posing, right? Oh yeah, there's that group and they're just having a good time. No,
Yeah.
I think that's great. Very good. I've also found that as we're doing these events, even just like leading up to it, I love seeing, because we're busy, and realtors, I know it's even worse with you all. You're very rarely in the office together. You're right. Most of
Right.
those are out showing houses. We might be a little bit more centralized, but really after COVID, not really. I mean, we've got people out most of the time.
Right.
So one cool thing, even though the event isn't just for my team, I really kind of use those events as a time when we're all together, we're focused, we're doing the same thing, we have the same goals. I love seeing the collaboration. So if you set the tone right, and this is important as a leader, if you set the tone right to where it's everybody is helping each other, and it's not, you don't pit people against each other. That's bad, right?
Yeah.
So we want to bring in this tone of collaboration, but it's really cool. Like I saw one one of my mortgage bankers, who knew that one of my other mortgage bankers was really trying to work with another agent. And so this mortgage banker at this event was talking up the third person. Just things like that you see. So when the team comes together and they're united front. The goal is, let's build some relationships. Let's see if they have any clients that can use our help, right? Whatever that looks like, whatever the goal is for that event. If we all have that same goal in mind, and I think as a leader, it's important that we stress that goal. Like we can't just assume, because assuming that in their mind, they might have a completely different goal, or in their mind, they might be so super focused on their goal, which is a fine goal, that they're not looking at the big picture. And so it doesn't come off as well, right? So I have found that the events where they are literally helping each other, we all know our goal. Maybe we even say, hey, these are the top 5 people that I have coming today that I really want to try to get in a better relationship with.
We're really good about cheering each other on and, just winning together. It's important.
Winning together. That's it. Yeah, there's an abundance here.
For
There's
sure.
not mine. We're not the little seagulls sitting on the
That's
mine.
probably one of my very favorite things about Atlantic Bay is I feel like everybody is on that same page. We all want everybody to win. I think we're all
Everybody wants us to win. That's exactly right. Because the truth of the matter is, and even as a real estate, if you're a team lead or a broker, brokers especially, you know that if you can make the individuals on your team win, then the team name just gets better.
yeah. I think it's attractive to those, our industry professionals that we look like we're all together. We look like we're, like you said, a unified front. We're
It
very
is.
much in it for each other too.
It really makes that difference. And if I'm out there promoting someone else and we're out there pushing the whole team, it really just builds that vision up and it just makes your name bigger in the community. So it could do no harm, right? It could do no harm. And I've had a team lead come to me. They're like, well, if I do that and then somebody on my team leaves, then I've just wasted that time. I'm like, no.
The name is still out there. Yeah.
That's it. That event wasn't that one person's event. It was the event.
Right.
And if that one person left your team, so a couple of their people might have followed that, but you still got that recognition for the event itself.
Still got that.
If that's right. It is what you were putting out into your little mini universe that is going to be remembered, not the specifics.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming on and sharing your secrets. I hope everybody enjoyed this episode of Recharging with Champions Leadership Edition, and we will see you next week.